Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Yeah, well, we are those people. We've been having these conversations since college.
Yep, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts podcast, 90 Day Fiance UK Season 3, Episode 7 recap. Be sure to like, subscribe, rate, and leave a review.
6 episodes in, this makes number 7. Besides the fact that you're not believing some of these couples, how are you feeling about this show so far?
The biggest thing I'm focused on is I'm not believing a lot of these couples. It's like each episode, something happens. I just think to myself, this is crap. Mm-hmm. This has to be a lie. This is producer driven. It's fake. Outside of that, I did make that comment. I love and I want to see people happy, but just interesting choices that are out there.
Is it okay? You got to take shows like Never Ever Met's out of the equation when I ask this next question, right? But do you think when shows first start, then these reality TV dating shows, that when they first start, that they then have more of a sense of quote unquote reality as to when they get success versus when they get success and then all of a sudden there's a little bit more going into it? Like there's, all right, well, we've got to keep this, so we've got to add more to make it better.
I think they find ways to add more if the couple seems too perfect. If everything's going too well, then they got to throw something else in there to try. There's always one couple that everything's going great, and then they find a way to throw some drama into it. Mm-hmm. But then there's a lot of matches that you just think this doesn't make sense.
Right.
And with the 90 Day Fiance series, what I don't like is these couples have already been talking.
Yes.
And that's where the lie part comes, because a lot of the stuff they're talking about they probably already covered, or whatever. But they make it seem like it's new. So for 90 Day Fiance specifically, that's why I hate this one.
So you don't believe these is the first time they have these couples? Because like Michael says, what's up? I only watch Mavs, right? And Mavs, at least they're having these conversations supposedly for the first time because again, they're just meeting them at the altar.
Right.
So that's where they lose you on 90 Day Fiance.
Right, because they're making this stuff up, and some of these people have been talking for years. We already got one couple; they've already married. Why are they on this show if they're already married?
You know why? Because you said you don't go into Reddit, so therefore you wouldn't know that. So you only take up what's on the show.
Yeah.
So here we go, man. Because we got to get through these couples here. It's not a whole lot that went on. And here's the thing I like about 90 Day Fiance, because the couples are so almost said segregated, but they're separate. It's not like Married at First Sight where they started putting them all together and then now you have to actually follow this thing in the episode. In this one, you can really stay on one couple each time, right? And that's the one thing I really seem to love about this and the way they're doing it. And first, we get to see Jamie and Kathleen. And the thing about this one here is because Jamie's back from Cyprus and he's out playing Monopoly with his friends, and they seem to be having the grandest time.
I mean, Monopoly is always fun. No matter what country you're in, Monopoly's fun. Mm-hmm. But what we learn about Jamie is that he's hanging with his friend Rich and Charlotte, and apparently Jamie and Charlotte dated. And if you look at all these different women that Jamie has dated or they showed him with, the dude has no type. He will talk to anybody that likes him. And hey, applaud that, Jamie. You go find your love wherever you got to find it.
Hey, give him kudos to him. He's doing what he does best, right? But one of the things he's doing is searching and seeking professional help, because he needs help from a dating coach, because he is not a romantic guy. So she asked, what do you think romance is? And he's like, sweet words and sending money.
Yeah, he gives her money. That's romantic, right? And Minnie, who's the dating coach, she has a good poker face.
Yeah.
She has a good poker face.
Why you say that?
She's like, oh, yeah, she's just, she want to look at him and say, are you crazy?
No, definitely. It's an interesting one, because and as like, what do you know about her that someone walking into her life tomorrow would not know. And he didn't give anything that you wouldn't get from a first conversation.
No, not at all. So that's just not his thing. He's not the romantic type. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess he talked about how Kathleen will leave him little notes and things like that. So Minnie was saying maybe that's how she's wanting you to show love.
Right.
So then this dude decides that he wants to write a poem. As soon as he said that, I was thinking, no, write a note. Just write a note. If you're not good at writing poetry, don't practice and try.
Right.
On a relationship you're trying to salvage.
Yeah. It's terrible. The way he thought about it, go out somewhere, be inspired by what's around you. I was good with him until he started writing about everything he saw. And then he recited a poem for her, and you're just like, yeah, you could have stopped.
The look on her face, and he said, I was trying to be romantic, and she says, yeah, you're not romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm thinking, okay, Kathleen, he's not romantic, all these things you don't like, and he hooked up with one of your friends. Why are you with him?
And why do you keep trying to tell him to be romantic? That's the problem. If you know that's not what he is, and you know he obviously can't learn, stop trying to change that man. See?
Yeah, if you know she can't cook, don't force her in the kitchen. No, you're gonna learn today.
Well, it's funny because it's on FaceTime, but her reaction was so, okay, yeah. It was like, she was smiling, and then they were like, no. All right.
Yeah.
Next up, Sam and Allie. And these two, man. Sam, I give her an A+++ on self-awareness because she's like, do I look like I hike? I don't exercise. I order extra fries. When you talk about this, like, look, this is not for me. I walk along the waterfront with the waves splashing. That's not me. I don't want to do it. I hate the fact that she's always complaining, but I applaud her for this.
I guess. I mean, she could use some walking. I don't think it's bad.
Mm-hmm. We all could.
Thing. Yeah, we all could exercise. There's nothing wrong with that. And you want to keep ordering extra fries and do those things, that's more power to you. But all that whining she was making because of the sea spray, she just complained the whole time. They had pretty much that whole, was it the Marmaris, if I'm pronouncing that right? Had it pretty much to themselves.
Yeah.
Minus the camera crew. But they had it to themselves. You know, that was nice romantic walk, and all she did was complain.
That's because nobody else wanted to be out there when there was a thunderstorm off the coast. Come on. But here's the thing, though. I think the conversation they had after this was really, this is where I jump on Sam's side because it's a real conversation, right? It's about asking Ollie, like, okay, why do you want to come to England? Is it for me or is it what? Because he always says a better life, more money, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, and you too. Yeah.
I thought it was great that she had that conversation with him, and he's trying to say, look, how many times do I have to keep explaining this to you? I'm coming for you. And she's telling him about the unemployment rate, which I think if you're going to relocate anywhere, whether it be in the States or whatever, you should be looking into these things. And she's saying the unemployment rate's high. A lot of people are out of work. And so he says, well, that's good. Her people are lazy, and because I'm Turkish, I'll work harder than them. Come on, man. It just doesn't always work that way. I mean, you got to have a plan. Now, I personally don't believe this storyline that he's just in love and that he's just going to plop down in the UK and then figure it out. I'm sure he's doing something to try to look into some of that because I just can't imagine these people are not that smart. I know they are, but I think that's the part about the 90-day things I don't like. They make it sound like people going from one country to another, and as soon as they unpack their bag, well, guess let me figure out what I'm going to do here. I just don't buy it.
Okay, that's because you've also grown up in the States your entire life, right? So you know the reality of this. What's shown elsewhere is the American dream. This is what America looks like. It's like the visual of what it is. And same thing with the UK then. I mean, you know, because after they went and, hey, we claimed this land in the name of the king or the queen. And they're like, all right, well, we need to see where home is now. They're like, no, stay where you are. But still,
I've never heard anyone that thought the UK was home of the dreams and life changing. Like it didn't help Meghan Markle, and she had money.
well, that's because she was also coming from here. She was coming from the U.S. There's a difference.
And she was a little darker than they prefer over there.
Or here. They'll act like America is just this melting pot of forgiveness and acceptance. It's not.
Oh, I'm talking about the royal family. I'm not talking about society. I'm talking about the royal family.
Oh, well, yeah. At that point, yes. But, okay, so he's really of the, but here's the difference. The mindset could be just in the same fact of like, look, I'm a hard worker regardless. I'll find work. I'll do whatever it takes. Even though we know he wants to be a professional video gamer. They end up going out with his friends, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we learned in this time is that he's like, yeah, but soon, she says, when we get there, there's no computer. And he's like, well, that's the first thing we'll go buy. And she's like, no, we need to pay for this visa first. But if that's his thing, that he wants to be a professional gamer, shouldn't this have been something they talked about anyway?
Well, again, I'm probably sure it is, because what Sam is saying is that she works from 9 to 5 and then goes to another job 5 to 11 and then also even works on Saturdays to make the money to pay for this visa as well as her trips. So she's working her tail off, and I don't blame her. No, we need to pay for this visa. I need to get my money back before I buy something so you can sit on your butt. She's working 2 jobs.
Yeah. Well, here's where the tables turn, because as she's talking to his friends, Ishmael talks about how sad he's going to be when Ali leaves, right? And then Sam just gets hit by a wave of emotions, and she finally kind of realizes, well, wait a minute, Ali's leaving behind everything he knows, all his friends, to come be with me.
I don't know about you, I laughed during that whole thing.
I'm sure you did.
One, I'm looking at Ishmael crying, and I get it, right? Mm-hmm. But then I'm looking at her crying, and then she's like, he's leaving all this. I'm like, these 2 friends? You're hanging out with 2 people, and he's leaving all this for you.
This is the man that says he's all about love. This guy right here. So
I am. I'm about real love. This, to me, doesn't seem real. I think Ali just wants the visa and wants to move to the UK. And that's it. And he was even trying to get Ishmael on game. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Can you introduce me to any ladies? And she's like, what about my mom? So now she's going to be paying for 2 more visas.
Well, that was actually a great move by her, because you saw how quickly Ishmael was like, no, I'm good. Real quick. Real quick. But, considering you had a problem with her crying, I know you had a problem with her packing up when she was leaving.
Her packing skills are just terrible. Just terrible. And then, who travels with hangers? Colonizers. They travel with hangers. Who travels with hangers?
Because their hangers are better. Next up, we had Tony and Nui, right? And Tony's taking Nui to see his sister. And this is going to be interesting, because remember, the sister had questions before. Is she going to be that way when Nui gets there? And we get that answer immediately.
Immediately. I love that. She went straight for it. So why do you like Tony? Mm-hmm. And then she asked, if Tony moves to Thailand, will you go back to your ex-husband? That was the one. I was like, goodness.
Now,
then she said,
her answer should have been no, but if he doesn't, I will.
I like how she asked Tony right in front of her. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you can trust her? Like,
yeah.
She's sitting right here.
He said, hey, I'm still here. Guys. But then the next day they send, wait, before that, the question that he asked, she asked him, not even just about the spend, do you trust her, but do you spend a lot of money on her?
Yeah.
I thought that was a lot to ask in front of her in that space.
It was. Sister went all in.
Mm-hmm. She was not playing. But the next day, Tony and his sister have some time together, because he sends Nui to the grocery store to go grocery shopping because she wants to cook some Thai food for the family. Mm-hmm. Right? Apparently, there's a restaurant in a grocery store that has Thai ingredients for Thai food in Scotland.
Yeah. They have their own little Chinatown. You can just pick up all the ingredients that you need. Asian section.
He's happy when Nui comes back though, because she brought change.
Yeah, and like she's a child. Yeah, she went grocery shopping all by herself. Hey, you did it.
That was good. You made it back alive in this country.
Well, Nui can fight. Now, don't forget about that.
That's true.
She can fight, so I'm sure she'd be able to take care of herself. But Tony, talked with his sister while Nui was shopping, and said that she told Lisa that she scared Nui last night with all those questions, and Lisa said, "I'm your sister, and I'm going to ask my questions. Pretty much get over it."
Yeah, which I'm not mad. If you have questions, ask them, get them out the way. It's better to ask the hard questions now. It's easier to be nicer later than to be nice and then get mean later. Mm-hmm. So if you have doubts, you ask those questions. I always say, if you have a question, ask it. Because the only stupid question is the one not asked.
Right.
And then sometimes I regret when I say that, because then people ask stupid questions. Like when Nui was like, "Is there no walk?"
I thought that was fake. Why would there be a walk in that house? Why would there be a walk in that house? Why would there be a walk in that house? So, and the way what? There's no walk? What am I going to do? Like, you can't cook without a walk? Yes, you can. Stop doing this shenanigans.
Yeah, but not as good.
Yourself. You're embarrassing yourself.
Did you see that small pan she had to cook in? It would have been so much better than a wok.
Make it work. That's what we do. Make it work.
Well, that's what she did. She made it work.
I don't have a wok, but can I make some stir-fried stuff? Yes.
Well, you call it that. It doesn't mean it really is.
That's what it's called. That's what the recipe says.
Well, Nui's a little nervous about whether the sister will actually like the food, right? And one of the things that Tony's sister did say was, as long as it's not spicy, because apparently spice is not something that's, appealing to her, which is good. I mean, I get it. Not everybody can deal with spicy food. Me, I want flames coming off of it, right? Not everybody can handle that. But the thing that irked me when everybody sits down at the table is how they get the bowl with the seasoned food and everybody sniffs all up in. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Well, they're not used to seasoning and spices in their food. They're used to everything being bland. So you got to entice them with it. Smell that? You smell that? Yeah.
That's what I'm like. You eat that. I got it. I'll get from this bowl that y'all didn't sniff.
Yeah, I'll get my own bowl. Make my own plate.
I'm the person that if you lean over my food, I'm pushing to the side. Like nah. Oh, we gonna fight 1 or 2. I'm serious. I don't want everybody in my food. But the good news is, in this one, everybody loved the food.
Yeah, they did love it. Lisa liked it. But Nui singing that she liked Thai food song was cringe to me.
Why?
It just, it reminds me of anime. It's just fake. It's just, you're trying to over the top with some of this stuff.
No.
I don't buy it.
Okay, think about how nervous she was about cooking the food for her. Okay, the sister grilled her the first day. Lisa grilled her the first day, right? So this person's coming with just one little thing could be off. Oh, it's just got a tinge too much heat. I don't like it. Get out of my house because you didn't have good answers to my questions and you tried to kill me with this spicy ass food. Those could have been the thing. And that could be nerves. And it's okay, I'm so happy you like it.
I just don't buy it. I just don't feel like she would do that. Maybe when we get a chance to interview Tony, we'll ask him, hey, does Nui really act like that when someone likes her food? Or your sister, was that real? Or was that the producer said, hey, can you
How do you
give
act
it a
when
little
people
bit
like your
more?
food?
Huh?
How do you act when people like your food?
I don't act any way. I expect it.
And so humble about it, too.
Yeah, I expect it. Yeah. Good, isn't it?
I knew you'd like that.
Yeah.
Now try this.
Yeah, you washing dishes after this.
Oh, man. I mean, give grace, man. You got to give some grace, okay? Next up, as Reddit calls them, Fanta and Sprite. John and Sprite. And Sprite is getting ready to go meet his friend in London and help out on a photo shoot.
Mm-hmm. I was curious
John
to see what this is going to be
so
like.
aggravated. in the beginning, though.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I'll be honest. If you wake me up and you're just hovering over me as I'm trying to like open in my eyes, I'd be annoyed by that too. But for John just to be whining about him leaving to go do this photo shoot and then complaining like he has to get up and drive him, and Sprite's like, I can take a cab. Like, I can take an Uber. I got this.
He's like, no, that might be a good-looking Uber. No.
Right. Sprite travels all over the place. So he's like, I can totally do this by myself. I'm fine. So that whining from John I thought was unnecessary.
So, okay, here's an interesting thing that you I didn't think about it before until you just said that, right? John is acting like Sprite can't go anywhere by himself, so he has to take him, right? At the same time, you pointed out that Tony was impressed that Nui went somewhere by herself and came back. This is a 40-year-old woman. Is it because you've invited this person into your country, which is now foreign to them, and you just want to make sure they're safe? Is that what it is, and not the fact that they don't think they can survive on their own? Because you tend to make it seem like they don't think they can survive on their own, which obviously they've made this far.
I think Tony definitely knows that Nui can survive on her own because Nui can fight. We've seen it. He's not worried about Nui.
He's worried about everybody else.
Right. He's not worried about Nui. He's just not worried about it. She's fine.
I'm worried I got to pick her up from jail.
But for Sprite, travels like Sprite was trying to say, I don't need you to get up out of bed to come drive me somewhere. And then John's like, well, I'm already awake now. I'm not going back to sleep. Just make up your mind.
K-Ross says he Sprite already cheated, remember? Yeah. But here's the thing I like, though, with Sprite. He goes on this photo shoot. You get to see him in this element again. We saw it the first time when they first introduced us to him. But seeing him in this element, which is new, per se, he looked comfortable and looked good.
He did. I mean, I thought he did a great job. I liked, to your point, just seeing him in his element, he didn't seem like an ass.
Yeah.
He seemed like someone that was really passionate about what he was doing. He's excited about it. And that's all you ever want of anybody. I mean, there's nothing more energizing than being around somebody who's really passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
And love to talk about it. And just Sprite's whole energy changed. To me, I saw a different side of Sprite that was more likable than what I've seen previous.
Right. He was shining in that moment, and which is a good thing to see, right? John comes home, and Sprite's not there because Sprite's living in the moment and enjoying his time. Was it realistic for him to expect Sprite to be back just like that?
No, it's not realistic. And Sprite's kind of a gaslighter because he said, yeah, I'll try to be home by 6. Yeah, I'll try. He had no intention of being home by 6 o'clock.
Yeah, because John should have
knew that. Yeah, John should have knew that. And then John's fears that Sprite will see less value in him because he's hanging with all these beautiful, better people. He's hanging around a bunch of women and he's gay. I think you're okay. I really think you're okay.
You know what? That's a great point.
Yeah, he's a gay man hanging around a bunch of beautiful women. I think you won't have anything to worry about.
Maybe John sees the power in women and goes, they might be able to turn him straight.
No, I don't think anybody can do that. But I mean, Sprite, John's not the type of, his expectation is when he comes home, Sprite's going to be there waiting for him.
Not only that, but he wanted him to cook for him too, right?
Yeah, but why would he be sitting there waiting on him it's just, that doesn't seem like Sprite's character, but they've been talking long enough that John knows this about Sprite. So again, fake.
Right. Well, the next morning, John starts grilling Sprite like, well, what time did you come in? Because it obviously wasn't when I was awake. How'd you get home? Who brought you home? This is why.
They didn't sleep in the same bed that night.
Yeah. Well, if he spread out across the bed, there's nowhere for Sprite to go. I'm just saying. There's nowhere for him to go. He was like, yeah, I came in drunk. I don't want to wake you up. All right, cool, whatever. He had a good time, man. He had a successful shoot. But this argument goes, or as I like to put, they start a fake fight.
Right.
Because, I'm with you on this. Because, and I saw this, and again, I don't know why. I know what it is. I looked up one thing on Reddit that said 90 Day Fiance UK, and because I have all my notifications on, every once in a while, something will pop up. and it was mentioned about the fact that you can see them trying not to laugh as they're having their fights, right? And I'll be damned if I didn't see it. I was like, dang it. Why did I read that thread?
Yeah. Yeah. Sprite looked like he was laughing. John just, to me, seemed fake mad. Like, if you were really, really upset, yeah, I just don't see him doing it that way.
Yeah.
And the whole, what did Sprite push him or throw something at him? I can't. Yeah, I was like, this whole fight is just ridiculous and fake. Like, I just don't buy it at all. Who knows? They could already be married too, just like that other couple, and just a big lie.
But that's actually, I think, the rumor out there as well, because he did say, though, as he sat down in a confessional, he's not moving to England to be a house bitch. Good try at having the line of the episode, but I'm sorry, that title, the holder of the belt and the best line of episode number 7 is Sam. I don't exercise. I order extra fries.
I'd have to say the holder of the band, not the belt. I don't think there's belts.
Look, man, you know, this is the cake argument. Yes, the cake argument was terrible too. It's their arguments have not been very believable with Sprite and John, but I see some people saying in here like, okay, we should maybe it was J-Ro who said, side note, y'all should check out Mavs UK or Australia in the future. That's how Mavs should be done. I'm interested to know what the difference is in that space, because you'd think they're done all the same, but they're not necessarily done all the same. And I mean, 90 Day Fiance seems to be doing it the same way as the US version, the UK version. And unfortunately, we signed up for this, so we're gonna go through the whole thing of season 3. But man, this is a tough one.
It's pretty painful. Pretty painful. That we can spot the fakeness easily. Yeah, it's pretty painful.
Yeah, and usually you're the one to say that. For me to come out and say it says a lot in that space. So, but we still haven't gotten to Luis and Jose, who were on. I want to say they were on season 2, and were they also on season 1? I remember seeing them in the previews before. Never watched the 90 Day UK, but I've seen the previews and seen them before. This is the I Love Chicken Man. So it's gonna be. They now have a kid. My wife knows exactly who they are because she's seen this before. So yeah, it's gonna. That's. I think when they come in, the one thing I don't like is the fact they show us previews of things that are not happening in that. And J-Ro is like, 90 Day Fiance is very long. We may have to not take a second show up now, because if Mavs starts like Mavs fans said, in August or September, then we'll be stuck doing 3 shows unless.
Right. We'll see.
Unless you decide Love is Blind Brazil with the overdubs.
Nope. Nope.
Hey, Michael says, look, soon first ever presidential debate with a current and a prior president. Got to go, my friends. Yeah, he wants a front row seat because that thing doesn't start for 30 minutes. But, appreciate you hanging out with us, man.
That's why I told Yana, I'm like, hey, we got to make sure that we don't go too long. I want to go watch.
Yeah,
I want to watch these 2 grumpy old men go at it.
I don't watch the pregame when the 49ers played. I am definitely not watching the pregame for a presidential election.
No, I don't want to watch the pregame for the debate because it's just a whole bunch of noise. I want to see them wheel them both out.
Yeah.
Or however they're going to get them out there. And let's hear the crazy, because I'm sure something is going to happen tonight.
Because they're supposed to be muting the mics too, right? Aren't they? Muting when the other's talking?
Something's going to happen tonight. I just got to see it.
Yeah, get off my lawn.
No, you get off my lawn. No, you get off my lawn.
You're old. No, you're old. Oh, man. But look, so next week we're back with 90 Day Fiance UK episode 8, then Random Thoughts live on Wednesday. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Do us a favor, hit that like button. If you're checking out the replay, hit the like button again. And if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. And do us a favor, please follow us on IG, the RGRT Pod. Had to get a whole new page because couldn't get into the old one. We got locked out of the old one. Google Authenticator is the devil. Don't use it.
Yeah, and we're Yanni's doing a great job of putting up more content on there now that we have
Say that again,
the
please.
IG page.
Go ahead, say that again.
Now that we have the IG page up, and then keep following them and follow us because we're going to be connecting in a couple weeks at Jerkfest, and we're going to put some more stuff together for you. So follow us on IG.
Yep. Hey, I'm Yanni Root.
And I'm Just Terrell.
Make sure you follow us at Yanni Root, at Just Terrell, and at RGRT Pod.
Yeah, send us some of your random thoughts, some of the bullshit you find on the internet. We'll talk about it on the show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.